July 1977, the great circle of the Sundance. In the center, the Lodge of the Horn Society. It's the blood reserve in southwestern Alberta. When the Sundance camp was photographed 20 years ago, it was meant to be a record of something that was about to vanish from the face of the earth. In 1977, there were more people than ever. The reserve now numbers over 5,000 people. On this day, they were getting ready to welcome a very special guest. The Bloods are one of 4 tribes that make up the Blackfoot Confederacy. Their hunting grounds once took in a vast area, the southern half of what is now Alberta and far down into Montana. In the old days, before the traders brought them guns and whiskey, the buffalo had been the total center of their life. It gave them their shelter, their food, their clothing, even their fuel. Though they didn't always win their battles with other tribes, they felt they were masters of the northern plains. But 100 years ago, their very existence was threatened. White settlers were eyeing the hunting grounds. There was talk about a railroad coming. And worst of all, there was nothing to hunt anymore. The buffalo had vanished. In their desperation, they might have turned their guns on the intruders. Instead, they were persuaded to sign a treaty. In 1877, Treaty Number 7, which they thought would guarantee them the protection of Queen Victoria. The 5 chiefs who signed were given a medal. The Bloods were represented by the great chief Red Crow. Red Crow's great-grandson is Chief Jim Shot Both Sides, head chief of the Bloods today. The guest of honor is the great-great-grandson of Queen Victoria, Prince Charles, and future king.
Of the Horn Society and the Chief and Council.
On this day, the prince is to be inducted as an honorary chief of the Bloods. The prince had been invited to Canada for the commemoration of the signing of Treaty 7 100 years earlier.
Jim Shot Both Sides and Chief of the Bloods.
In the old days, activities of the tribe were governed by societies. For religious occasions, it was the Horn Society, and it's 3 members of the Horn Society who greet the prince. Over the years, almost 100 distinguished people have been captured by the Bloods. Another name for the Bloods is Kainai, which means many chiefs.
Horace Canal will perform this first part of the ceremony, which is called the capturing ceremony, the one that will be inducted. So we can say that the Black tribal members not only serve their own people, but also serve the rest of their fellow countrymen and free people throughout the world.
Horace Canal won his decorations in Europe. when his ancestors went to war in the old days, the enemy who were captured were ordinarily put to death. But some of those captured by the warriors were spared. They were adopted into the tribe.
Just sit down there and make yourself at home. 여기 괜찮지 또 베스.
The medicine man is Arthur Healy.
It's easy to come on.
I'm glad to hear it.
I'm glad to hear it. Vaikka siitä on puolka tuossa niin kuin tämä puolka tuohon. Aamulla painoin tämä kaipassa. Hakkuutta. Aivan saaks pumukit. Aja, se tukis pumukit. Kippukit.
Using yellow ochre, painting the face of the prince. This is part of the ceremony that Hannah chieftain.
It'll be in London.
That could be a very odd colour for a Chinese city, isn't it?
Of course, the paint has played a very important part.
The yellow and the red are both symbolic of the sun.
Yesteryears and today. Right now, Mr. Healy getting ready to put the headdress for the prince. Of our great leaders in the tribe have gone through.
Ah, handsome prince.
Good.
Now, you're going to get up and dance.
The prince is me, Gaystu, red gold.
Where are we going?
Of course, that's a name that is well known, famous throughout the world. Now the medicine man will be dancing with the prince. This is also traditional in our custom. And the chief, some of the counselors, as well as members of the Kainai chieftainship, are asked because the prince is now one of their members, so it is a custom that if you are inducted into society, the members have been there. First of all, we would like to ask Priscilla to present the beaded outfit to His Royal Highness.
Priscilla Bruised Head was a member of the Women's Society.
Next, we have a presentation made by the Horn Society. The pipe has been used by the Blood Tribe for centuries.
Thanks very much.
And he is as telling the prince that he can smoke this pipe throughout the winter time. Next, a Hudson Bay blanket coat, treasured by the elders from way back. It is a very special gift that Laurie Plume will be presenting on behalf of the elders of the Blood Tribe. So he will be smoking a pipe, and he will have something to keep him warm throughout the winter. Now, you know that this is horse country, and the horse is played a very important part in the development of the bloods. And this is one of the highest things that we can bestow on a visitor. I believe Mr. Rufus Goodstriker, member of the Blood Tribe Council, will be presenting a pinto to the prince.
Rufus Goodstriker is one of 13 members, men and women, who make up the Blood Tribe Council. They're elected, and it is they who govern all the affairs of the reserve.
Standing alone is a saddle maker. One of the few people that makes hand-tool saddles.
Pete Standing Alone is also a member of the council.
Thank you.
One of the elected councillors is Jim Shot Both Sides, the hereditary chief.
As the chief of the Blood Tribe, I am very proud to have His Royal Highness Prince Charles as our guest here today for the commemoration of the 100th anniversary of Treaty 7. He is with us today not only as a member of the royal family, but as an honorary chief of our tribe, Red Crow. We Gastu. We are the original people of this land. We have found with honesty and cooperation, we can live side by side in harmony. My father shot both sides. My grandfather, Crabbit Earwolf, and his father, Chief Red Crow, would all be pleased with the way we are commemorating this day today.
But now you have been generous enough to give me a warrior's name and face and the headdress of a Kanai chieftain. It is a source of great pride for me to bear the name Mekaisto, Red Crow. The honor is a double one. He was one of the greatest of your chieftains, and his name was given to the first Kanai chief, my late great-uncle, Edward, Prince of Wales.
Queen Victoria. Her son, Edward VII. His son, George V. His son, Edward VIII. His brother, George VI. His daughter, Elizabeth II. And her son, Charles, was to be greeted by her representative in Alberta, the Lieutenant Governor.
Chief Red Crow, welcome to the Kainai Chieftainship.
The Honorable Ralph Steinhauer is a Cree Indian. Years. What they were really celebrating was their survival, and the survival of traditions going back centuries. The prince was invited to take tea in the teepee of the Chief of the Bloods. In Prince Charles, they see a symbol of the honesty and trust they hope to find in Canadian society in the next 100 years.